T is one of the inverters installed by AWPS Renewable Energy, and what is about taking place now this morning is what is known as preventive maintenance. We have two engineers here with us that will be taking us through what is called preventive maintenance using this system. So, engineer, can you tell us what is involved, what it entails carrying out preventive maintenance? Can you tell us what are the things to be put in place? What do we need to know? Was this inverter down like this before, or was it on the wall? Please, just shed more light on what it entails.
Thank you, Mr. Sam. As you can see, this inverter is on the wall before, and for us to carry out this maintenance, we have to bring it down so that we'll be able to access the internal part of it. This is an Inverter inverter. As you can see, this is the front panel. We'll show you the whole system when we are done. And this is the transformer here. This is the transformer here, as you can see, and this are the control board which inverts the DC to AC, while this board controls what comes in and what goes out, like the PACN and the output AC. While this is the control system too, that controls what happens here, where you can set what goes in, what comes out, all those things. And this is the positive of the inverter to the battery, and this is the negative of the inverter to the battery. This is the input, AC input, negative, positive, and the hat, and this is the output, positive, negative, and the hat. And if you see, you could see some ports here. They are communication ports for heat sensor and some other battery monitor and some other things like that. And this is the inverter breaker. In case there is a fault, this will come out. And if this comes out, you have to come back and push it in. As you can see, this inverter is a very strong inverter. It has a lot of things that so many inverter doesn't have. Like this can regulate a lot of things, like the AC coming in. You can see it's built like a stabilizer. It's to stabilize. You see it has about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 relays. In case we have a low current, a low voltage, this will actually boost it up to help charge the battery and to help power the house. While some inverter will not power the house because they don't have the ability to regulate what comes in or what goes out. I mean, what comes in actually, yeah, the AC that comes in. But this particular inverter is a very strong one that has a very high rectifying system that can boost. In case we have about 120 volts coming in, this can boost it up to power the inverter. And you can see it's been protected with a lot of fuses. There's a fuse here just in case if anything happens, and there's another fuse here turning the system. You see it's about 300 amps of fuse for linking the negative terminal to the board. This is the power board that converts the DC to AC. You can actually see the internal part very well. There are lots of MOSFET in there, and this is the positive, while this is the negative. As much as you can say, this inverter is a very strong inverter and it's rare in town.
What is the size of this inverter?
This inverter is 3.5 kVA.
Okay. Okay.
In addition to what my colleagues have said, before we unmount this inverter from the board, there are some safety precautions we put in place. Like the AC now, as you can see, I can touch the AC and nothing happens. To avoid being electrocuted, we make sure the cutout fuse has been removed.
Where is the cutout
It's
fuse?
outside on the board, where the circuit breaker to the house So the cutout fuse has been removed, or you can decide to change the breaker in order to just disallow the flow of electricity to the inverter AC input. We also decide to disconnect the battery disconnect before turning off the inverter, the battery disconnect, and other things were put in place to avoid being electrocuted. Thank you.
Okay, after this, do you do cleaning? Do you wash with water? Do you clean with brush? Or how do you clean? Because I'm sure one of the things you will want to do on this inverter is to clean it. So how do you clean it? In order for some of these, cables not to get damaged. So how do you clean? What do you use in cleaning it?
Thank you. As you can see, there's a lot of dust on the system, and that's why we're doing maintenance on it. And those dust can affect some of the components. So it's very important to carry this out at least every 3 months, because the environment we are in, there are a lot of dust, and we don't clean with water. Likewise, we don't clean with any liquid material. All what we need to do is we use a blower, at the same time we use brush. Okay. Because there are some parts which you can't use a blower. If you're using a blower and the blower is much closer to the board or to the panels like this, the heat coming out from the blower can dissolve some of the small things that you are seeing here, small IC, small these things, which can affect the system. So that's why there's some parts you gently use the brush to just brush the dust off, and to brush the dust off. Then some part that you can use blower on, then you use blower on those parts.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay. This process you have just explained, has it been done or it will be done later?
As it has not been done, as you can see everywhere is
dirty.
We just open the system. So after this, everything will clean it up. Then you will see how neat it will be.
Okay. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.